Sports, where you have a Dallas Cowboys fan and two Washington Commanders as your host. I'm Woods with the Good.
I'm Uncle D with the T.
And I'm Lil EB with the lead.
Thank y'all for watching.
Hey, welcome back to Out on the Limb Sports. You know how we keep it going, man. We back to back. Here we have another guest speaker, my man, A-Town. Man, tell him what it is. Look, whole time, I just noticed your shirt. Yeah, yes, he is. He's a Kansas City Chiefs fan. And I'm here to tell you, just off the break, I grew up with this man and he's really a Chiefs fan. He grew up a Chiefs fan. Tell him how it is, man. Introduce yourself, man. Tell him how did you end up a Chiefs fan? First of all, come on, dog. Grew
It's
up with
A
the.
with the hot. It's A with the hot take. And
Mhm.
becoming a Chiefs fan, I was about 9 years old when that mind changed, and I just knew that they were going to be the best. But at the same time, I was a Derek Thomas fan. I was a defensive guy, always through and through, just like a defensive players. Derek Thomas was one of those guys that transformed me into knowing like this team's kind of all right, and he's a dog. You know what I mean? As you can see, he's in the Hall of Fame, stuff like that. So I feel like with making the choice, it was some rough years, a whole bunch of rough years throughout the 90s, the double O's,
Right.
the beginning of the 10.
That's
But
why.
once Andy Reid came in there and righted the ship, I felt confident where we was moving in the right direction. It was in a positive space.
What year did Andy Reid come? Do you know?
Yeah. 2013.
Oh, okay. Wow, it was that long ago. Wow, it's
That
been
long
long.
ago.
That's crazy.
That long ago, drafting guys like Travis Kelsey was a part of his first draft, you know. And as you see, Kelsey is doing fabulous
Oh,
things.
yeah, indeed,
Go tight end, you
indeed.
know. But Kansas City has always been that for a GOAT tight end. We used to have Tony Gonzalez and things of that nature. But he jumped ship. He jumped ship. But that's another story for another day.
So it was Derek Thomas. Yeah, I always
Derek
wondered.
Thomas.
I always wondered.
Some people always ask about Christian Okoye, but
Yep.
Okoye was before I was really liking them, unless I was using Tecmo Bowl or something like that, and Christian Okoye was just unstoppable. But
Mhm.
to make me transfer my mindset of just being a young kid and saying I'm rolling with this team, it was Derek Thomas.
Man, that's amazing, man. Rest in peace, Derek Thomas, man.
Rest in peace, Derek Thomas. You know what I mean?
PT, man, for real. Hey, look. So let's move on to the next drink.
Mm-hmm.
Your favorite moments with KC. Like,
Uh,
I know you got plenty, man. Y'all Super Bowl, y'all a dynasty at this point.
I mean, within the last 5 years, I got three moments. Super
Right.
Bowl, three of the Super Bowls out of the last 5 years is pretty much up there high on the list because it doesn't get much higher than that.
Hmm.
But just really watching 1-5 perform, man. When you just go out there and just watch 1-5 perform, I mean, he's something else, man. He just
I can't.
even when even when he just throws the ball deep, it just make you stand up out your seat because you automatically think it's just the right play that's being made.
The goat.
But some of my favorite moments is just one being able to, like I said, like you've known me since forever and knowing that some rough years. So one of them I would naturally say is the first Super Bowl and being able to see it because it was definitely unimaginable at the time of just being a Chiefs fan and just dwelling off the one Super Bowl that I didn't see, which was back in 1970, 69, 1969, I was nowhere around.
What
But
year was
just
the first Super Bowl you did see?
2019 when we played the 49ers the first time.
Okay.
So, you know,
So
um,
back to your favorite moments.
that was one of the favorite moments, seeing the first Super Bowl within me seeing it and just
Yeah.
enjoying it like that and just almost really shedding tears of joy. You know what I mean? So it was just something to see because I've seen Super Bowls and you know, like I said, you know me. I'm from the area, all the way to my father and brother and things like that, and other family members
Yep.
preached to me about being a skins. I mean, I'm sorry, a Commanders fan now,
Right.
but I was never a Commanders fan. You know, I'm from the relic. I'm an old school HTTR guy from the '80s into the early '90s. You
Right.
know,
Rest in
so
peace. Rest in peace, both our pops. Red
yeah,
Commander
exactly,
fans. Yep.
exactly. You know, sometimes you know when you just automatically just with the old school way of how the Commanders were a problem back then,
Yep.
but
And then,
more transferring into the Kansas City fan base was just really basically all losing the next year to the 49ers and I couldn't handle it. Honestly, it couldn't handle it. So I just said I'm rolling with them. And just me being a young man doing that, I felt like, you know, it was different. You know, I got frowned and clowned and why, and everybody always asks why. But one of the favorite moments is definitely the 2019 Super Bowl, and even last year's Super Bowl because everybody counted us out.
mhm.
Everybody thought just with the so-called down year to say,
Right.
or how things were looking like with receivers dropping passes or Patrick Mahomes didn't do this or you know it was one of the most favorite moments because everybody really counted us out. So
Hmm.
I would say both Super Bowl years will pretty much be it,
That's
honestly.
what's up. That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
You got moments. We got moments too, man. Thankfully, we got Super Bowls too. How many Super Bowls y'all got? You know,
Four total.
four. Y'all got more than us.
Yeah, because you know we're a better squad.
By the way, I'm naming this episode "Commanders in Chief." You know, Commander
I
in Chief.
got you. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Indeed.
It,
Next,
it goes together. It goes together.
you already know. Plus, what they represent goes together. You know what I mean?
What they represent goes together.
Yeah, native
At
pride.
least, at least from the old school way of thinking about it, but still
Yeah.
goes together. You know.
Nah, native pride. We got it in us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
the next topic is the NFL holdouts, man. You probably know more about it than me. I only know about four holdouts. You know, you kind of put me on a couple of them. Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, CeeDee Lamb, and Chase. Jamar Chase.
Yeah, because all those guys aren't at practice. So they're looking for new deals. You got Trent Williams, who's 36 years old. Some would say, why should a 36-year-old look for a new deal and not play out on his old contract? Which I disagree because him at 36 is still better than your average tackle who's 26.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So and then he's seeing the new deals that the young guys are getting. So why shouldn't he get a piece? And just even with him being in the top 10 of his own peers on the NFL 100 list, why shouldn't he get a new deal? And they know that the ball is in his favor to get that new deal because them going into the season without Trent Williams would be a tragedy, especially with a quarterback that you got in the Purdy, who's sustaining his career through the good people that's around him in San Francisco. And
Right.
then you got Brandon Ayuk. Ayuk's looking for a new deal, second team All Pro type of guy. He's built on his season each and every year to where he's gotten better, whether it's his catches that his receptions each year, his yards each year, and just total player production. And just ultimately, he's like I said, he's a second team All Pro, and it's going into I think the 5th-year option. But why won't you want to target that before? Because it's not like the numbers are going to get any lower. The numbers are always just going to keep on increasing. You feel what I'm saying?
And
So
right.
you might as well just get on it now. And then I think they just had a meeting with Brandon Ayuk on Monday, and it's pretty much the same old things.
Who did?
The 49ers. I haven't heard much about what they're doing with Trent Williams, but it's pretty much the same old thing of them saying the meetings are progressing, and they're saying all the right stuff that they want to say instead of doing the right thing. And they need to do the right thing by both of them, because both of them are great players on the offensive side of the ball.
I tell you what, not to cut you off, but it looked like 49ers are starting to have problems, man. They had
It's starting to have problems.
they had their glory years to win the Super Bowl, and they're running short. And
They're running short.
to be honest with you, I really think the keystone of this is Adam Peters, because he left. Everybody wants to be with Adam Peters. Everybody now wants to be with who? The Washington Commanders. Brandon Ayuk is his number one team is the Washington Commanders. Trent Williams.
I think they said the Steelers were interested. They were interested, excuse me.
Yeah.
I think the Steelers were interested as well, but the Commanders, his tie into the Commanders is really through the new quarterback Jaden Daniels, who's looking pretty good. Because they both were at Arizona State together, so that's their connection.
But who else is on the list? Trent Williams. Of course, he got ties with us, and his only problem with us was Dan Snyder.
And he did say that. He came out openly and said that.
And he's out the door. So he's probably willing to come back. You know what I mean?
Would you be willing to take him back?
Absolutely. Get rid of Lucas, whoever we got on the edge. Like, indeed.
I got you.
Absolutely, I'll take Trent in his later years, even in his later years. Yes. To me, he should retire as a Redskin, and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
He's definitely a first ballot. He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer right there.
Yeah.
Definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Other than those four, I don't know who's hold. I want to say something about Jamar Chase real quick, because
Jamar Chase as well.
We're in need of I guess we're in need of a wide receiver on our side. We just got rid of Johan Dotson. We let him go to the Philadelphia Eagles within the division. It's a little upsetting, but we need a taller receiver, and he's not one of them that's getting open. I'm thinking that we're gonna look at T.Y. Higgins from Cincinnati.
Oh, you talking about T. Higgins? T. Higgins, right? But they got him on the franchise. But I think by the time next year, he's definitely going to hit the market, and he's going to demand a couple of dollars, which rightfully so, just depending on this year that's coming up. But like the thing with Jamar Chase that's different from like a CeeDee Lamb and the thing with Jamar Chase that's different with CeeDee Lamb and a Brandon Ayuk, you got to remember Jamar Chase is only coming off his 3rd year. The rest of those guys, they're coming off their 4th year. So they can demand that money. It's kind of like Jamar's kind of asking for it a little bit earlier than normal, because it's not even going into his 5th-year option. Those guys is going into their 5th-year option.
Brandon Ayuk is on his 4th year?
Yeah, he just finished his 4th year.
Wow, that's crazy.
Along with CeeDee Lamb. That's why these guys want to get paid. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going into their fifth year option, but it's time to pay those guys. You gotta remember, like CD hasn't even been at camp. Jamar hasn't even been at camp, and he's holding firm to that because one, the owner even came out and said that they're making a priority for him to get paid. But I don't think I think it kind of bit the owner in the tail a little bit for coming out and saying that because with him saying that, Jamar's trying to take advantage of the whole situation to get that money. You understand?
Right.
So
So I went out on a limb and said that Jamar Chase and CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, all of them want to come to Washington. All right, now
why do you think all of them want to
I'm
come to Washington?
I'm stretching with the Jamar Chase, but CeeDee Lamb got ties with Dan Quinn. He was one of his coaches. You know,
Yeah,
uh,
but Dan Quinn was more a defensive guy than the offense. But familiarity always counts for something. You know, it
indeed,
always does.
indeed. And I already said my thing on Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams and why they want to come. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
right.
Pause. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next subject, man. Uh, Tua and Flores beef. You know more about it than I do, but I do know that Tua had said that Flores had benched him. Well, I know that he had benched him twice when he was head coach. When Flores was head coach of Miami,
Hmm.
he benched him twice, and it kind of stunted his development as a quarterback. That's what Tua had said. You know,
Yeah, and then he also called him a bad person. I mean, I don't know what their relationship was on between them both, but just openly for him to talk like that.
mhm,
And the thing about it, when Flores even came on the back end and gave a rebuttal, he never said, "Oh, that didn't happen."
right,
It was kind of like maybe maybe what Tua said was pretty real, but it was like he learned from the mistake. And I think Flores did a great job of just taking the high road and not really like dwelling on the whole situation and saying that he learned from that situation and he didn't have no backlash towards what Tua said, even though it really probably did stunt Tua's growth a little bit. But when you got a nice seasoned veteran and a former commander himself and Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's very seasoned as a quarterback, it's hard to kind of take away and make him sit the back burner while you're bringing in a new rookie quarterback, especially when we've seen Ryan Fitzpatrick perform at a high level. We've seen him perform at a low level as well. But it's kind of like you gotta fill it out a little bit, you know?
right. I'm glad you said that because we're moving on to the next joint. We ain't gonna
Mm-hmm.
spend a whole lot of time on that because I respect Flores as a man as
Right.
respecting what Tua said.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
just gotta respect that, and we're gonna move on as far as rookie quarterbacks. You know, and sitting. You know, but first, before we say that, today's rookie quarterbacks and what we have in my guy Jaden Daniels, we got Caleb Williams, we got
Mm-hmm.
Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy got hurt.
Yeah, but he's hurt. Uh we got Drake May, and that's somebody who I did forget. Is Drake May in New England. I think he earned the starting role maybe
Brisket,
over
Brissett,
Jacoby Brissett. Yeah,
Brissett.
right. I think he earned the starting role. So you got a couple of rookies that's going to be starting, and they hopefully they can do some big things, but it's a lot that's going to be on their plate as a rookie quarterback
Mm-hmm.
because some of those teams they're not in certain positions to where they were the best. That's the reason why they had to take those quarterbacks early in those early first round, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And
And then you
then
got a guy like Michael Penix who who can really step in if something was to happen to Kirk, not God forbid, but if something were to happen to Kirk, or if he re-injures the Achilles tendon or anything like that, I can see Penix stepping in and handling it pretty well.
right. But whole time, I hope nothing happens to Kirk. He's a former commander, and I wish the best
Definitely,
for Kirk. You know what I mean?
definitely seasoned vet, a a a a, a real professional in its own self. If
It really
in
is.
lack of terms,
He's on what, like his 11th year already. That time
is it
went by fast. It
right?
is like 10th or 11th year already. He got drafted with RG3. I'm gonna look that
And
up. I'm gonna put it on the screen.
and your man RG is out of the league right now,
Right. And out of ESPN too. That's another topic.
and out of ESPN. Yeah,
But whole time, man, I wanted to know if this the best rookie class of all time. It was a question mark.
rookie class in the sense of quarterbacks.
It's in a sense of quarterbacks. I asked that before, and what has been considered the best was the class of '83,
Right,
the year we were born, by the way. So,
birth year,
hey, but
eight Trey.
in that class, it was John Elway, Todd Blackledge.
Yeah, that's who the Chiefs. That was the last time the Chiefs had picked the first round quarterback before Mahomes that year.
That's amazing. You got
That's
ties to
amazing.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Jim Kelly, I got ties to that because we beat him. Um, Tony Easton, Ken O'Brien, and Dan Marino.
Yep.
And we can see, just with those names, we can
Ken
see why.
O'Brien from the Jets. Is that Ken O'Brien from the Jets?
Yeah, he did play with the
Okay.
Jets. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can see why that's named, the top rookie class so far. But now this is being questioned as if this is the best top rookie quarterbacks ever. What you think?
Kind of hard to say right now because those guys haven't really played a down of real regular season football. And you got the 83 class who has at least three Hall of Famers
Yeah.
within Dan Marino, John Elway, and Jim Kelly, all Hall of Famers. Now, all of them are not Super Bowl champions, but they all had great careers for them to enter into the Hall. Now, can those guys that have been drafted this year in the year 2024, can any of those guys kind of replicate any of that? I see a couple with the potential, like a Caleb Williams. I like Jaden Daniels as well. Um, I think, and it's something. Even though he's on a nemesis team, I always liked Bo Nix while he was at Auburn, even moving out to Oregon. I just always thought he would be NFL ready. And he's kind of been showing that within the preseason. And a lot of those guys have been having successful preseason, along with Drake May. They've had successful preseasons. Michael Penix, when he was out there for the one game that he played in, and I feel like they feel so confident about him. He only played in one playoff game unless there's a underlining injury or something that's going on where they didn't want him to play. But
Mhm.
just from that one preseason game, he looked pretty good. And a lot of other guys, they look pretty good, along with Jaden Daniels. Like each preseason game, I got a chance to check him out when he played Miami, and I got a chance to check him out. Who was it that they played? The Jets. I got a chance to check him out playing the Jets. I got a chance to check out really all the rookie quarterbacks who have been out there performing, and they all look good. I can't deny that. So it's just to see how they perform against your regular day one guys, your first stringers because they've been going against, the back end, the second tier, third tier, fourth tier. So
True.
it's kind of like, let's see what they got really when they go against the first stringers. And that's going to really prove to me to see what they really got.
Okay, so in defense of Caleb and Jaden,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they've been seeing the second tier and third tier, a couple of first tiers, but both of them, I think they're okay because of their poise.
Yeah.
I think both of them are okay because they look so comfortable out there. You
They
know,
look comfortable out there, right?
I mean, my boy called an audible in the preseason. Like, come on, man, you can't ask for nothing better. He knows the plays as a rookie. Man, how many? Me as a Commander fan, we run out of time too. We might gotta do a part two. Me as a Commander fan, went through so many quarterbacks to not call an audible in the regular season, let alone the
Yeah.
preseason. Man, I'm so happy to see this. We gotta move along fast because they just gave me a notice. The next topic though, uh, to transition. Matter of fact, what Brady said, you know more. What Brady said about the rookie quarterbacks.
He just feels like that they're getting thrown into the fire a little bit fast.
Hmm.
But with the game, he feels like it's downgraded so they can be thrown into the fire kind of fast. Because on where he feels that the game is, I wouldn't even say evolved. He feels like it's been set back a little bit towards like the college game on how plays are being called, how things are transitioning. But he just feels is that they're not getting really the tutelage like how he got from Drew Bledsoe or how Mahomes got from Alex Smith or even Rodgers. I'm not saying a rookie quarterback should sit like Rodgers did for 3 straight years or like how Jordan Love got to sit learning from Rodgers, but sometimes those things can help a rookie grow within to the
Right.
league.
Rogers set for 3 years.
Rodgers sat for 3 years behind Favre, bro.
Dang. Man, see, that's something to think about. That goes into my next type question. How do you feel about throwing them into the fire like that in today's time? I mean, evolution. You got to think about evolution. These our kids are more advanced. They're taller. They're bigger. They're stronger. You know how the
Right.
kids are. Yes, I mean, it's something to think about. But at the
I
same
mean,
time, we've
yeah,
grown up seeing quarterbacks sit at least 1 year.
at least 1 year. But this is the thing about it. It's you really you gotta understand. Let me take it slow. Quarterbacks nowadays, or even before, out of any other position really in the NFL, when they get drafted,
Yep.
they're always the ones where it's kind of like you can give them an excuse to say they're a project and I'm trying to build up their confidence and things like that. Other rookies, they get thrown into the fire as well, whether it's cornerback, DN, lineman, most of those guys that
That's
get
true
drafted in,
too. That's true,
most
but
of the,
but stick on just quarterback because that's the most important.
no, I'm saying like
And
just
and
what
history's
what I'm
time.
saying is quarterbacks are always said that this is a project, so we could sit them for a while. So
Mhm.
it's like it kind of goes back and forth to you made this draft pick, so why not play him? You know what I'm saying? You took that draft pick, so you can play that guy. But when
That's
it
why.
comes to quarterbacks, it's always a project to where they'll say we sat him this whole year just so he can develop. While other positions, they go straight into the fire. So with it being a quarterback doing the same thing, I don't really see that there's no problem because you drafted him for a reason, for him to play.
I agree. I'm 50-50 about it. I agree and disagree because if we look at all the greats, they all set. Even Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith.
Yeah, but look at those quarterbacks that we named from 1983. None of those quarterbacks sat.
That's
Jim
why.
Kelly didn't sit.
That's why it's a
John
question,
Elway didn't sit.
right? That's why.
Dan
That's
Marino
why.
didn't sit.
That's why it's a question now, and I wonder why they stopped from 1983 playing the rookies right away that they
I
drafted.
mean, but you still have rookies that play right away. It's just like Peyton Manning. I mean, was the rookie season glorious? No, not at all. But like at the same time, Peyton Manning, the year after when he was able to get weapons and things of that nature,
Yep.
his level went up, the record went up, and he was able to learn from being on the job and
Right.
having those bumps and bruises and going into the next season. Like every quarterback's not going to have that veteran presence. That's just this type of guy. You know what I mean? Your veteran quarterback might be Case Keenum. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yep.
And not to say that Case Keenum's a bad quarterback, but is he like a Peyton Manning or a Brett Favre where they're able to sit behind a good seasoned veteran or a future Hall of Famer or anything like that? You know what I mean? Just like
Mhm.
Alex Smith was a great quarterback for the Chiefs, high IQ, and and Patrick Mahomes was able to sit behind and
So,
learn a lot.
so you kind of going into the next thing I wanted to talk about of our relation, commanders and chiefs, commander in chief relation. Um, as far as players, and we just had Eric Bieniemy as the coach last year. They ain't work out too much, but my most appreciation is Alex Smith, which you just mentioned. You know what I mean? And that
and
was
and,
my
and
guy.
let and letting letting y'all get Fuller back.
Not Fuller back because first of all, we drafted him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
y'all got him back, but where'd he come to win that Super Bowl?
Look, you mentioned my other guy, Kendall Fuller, and then Rashard Breeland. We let y'all have him to win a championship real quick. You feel me? We let y'all have, but I will thank you for Wiley this year. Thank.
Wiley.
No, who do we get this year? Yeah, the lineman.
Oh, my man Big Nick Algaretti, right there.
Thank you. I
Yeah, man. I know my guys.
I appreciate that much. And also
And then
Pringle. We got
I
Pringles.
have Byron Pringle as well.
Yeah, so
Byron Pringle's a champion with us as well.
hopefully we can use those guys to do what you did with Kendall Fuller and Brashard Breeland and win a ring. You know what I mean? Because you know what I mean? That's a big deal.
It's
Well,
gonna be tough.
hey, look, we got one more topic and we're gonna end it off. You said something about flag football and NFL players trying to get involved. What you know about that?
So the 2028 Olympics is introducing flag football as a new team sport within the Olympics. And the whole idea that they're talking about is NFL players being incorporated in the flag. But we have a young man named Darrell Doucette, who's a quarterback for flag football, and he feels as though since they have the know-how, they've been doing it for years. He feels like it's wrong of them to get shunned away from it, and they should have pretty much like, I wouldn't say first dibs, but they should be the ones that's playing in it, the real flag football guys instead of NFL football.
Nah,
Because
I agree. I agree.
I agree with them to a certain extent, but just to even come out on a limb and just say that they shouldn't, like those guys don't know how to play football. I mean, football is football. The only thing that's naturally changed is maybe certain rules or things that you can do. And then there's no pads and the defense is not tackling you and things like that, but it's still football at the end of the day. And for a guy to be coming at my guy,
Right.
Patrick Mahomes, and say that he's better than and his
Hold on.
IQ is better than,
Right. That
is
sound
just
like
out of this world.
that sound
Out
like
of this
no,
world crazy.
that sound like Noah and Tyreek Hill race type thing right there.
Yeah, that's just
What's the name